If no NFL team ever called Colin Kaepernick again, I don't blame them. That's not to say I don't want him in the NFL. I think that he was blackballed. I think that it was unfair what has been done to him. Obviously, he should be in the National Football League based on his talent, but that's separate and apart from what transpired Saturday. You have reached out, whether it's via your camp or whomever, you have reached out to a number of people throughout this nation looking for that support. You wanted an opportunity to work out. You put social media videos out there showing that you were still throwing the football effectively. You showed that you worked out religiously. When I saw him in person a few weeks ago, he looked in phenomenal shape, and I think we saw that Saturday. Saturday wasn't about a workout. Saturday wasn't about whether or not seeing if Colin Kaepernick could play or not. Saturday was about the whole interview process and whether you were willing to capitulate to some of the things that the NFL will want to do. Clearly, they had to do the same. Having the workout in and of itself was a major, major feat. Why was that necessary? Because we're living in an age where right now the top 4 candidates for league MVP honors, at least before yesterday's game, were Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. 4 black quarterbacks. Oh, by the way, the top paid player in the NFL is a black quarterback. When you look at all of those things, along with the ratings, along with the revenue that they've generated, no one was even talking about Colin Kaepernick. So the NFL has this workout. They organize it. Rock Nation, in concert with Roger Goodell. You had executive VPs in the NFL that didn't even know about this, okay? But nevertheless, Roger Goodell and Rock Nation pulled it off where representatives from 25 different teams showed up. By the way, a vast majority of those representatives were African Americans who clearly were supportive of Colin Kaepernick. At least 2 or 3 of them are African Americans in the GM pipeline, soon to be GM someday in the very near future in the National Football League, according to some folks that I've spoken to. And yet you don't show up. 2:30 in the afternoon, a half hour before your workout was scheduled, was when they were informed that you would not show up and that instead you would be 51 miles away. The 51 miles away. Atlanta traffic, don't know if you know about that, but that's kind of difficult, even though you pushed it back to 4 o'clock. Then not only do you do that, when you show up, there are a whole bunch of people there wearing I'm with Kaepernick jerseys or T-shirts that said, I know my rights, okay? So clearly it was orchestrated. Security was there, videographers and all of this stuff was there. You knew all along that you were going to have this event there, but you didn't tell the NFL until 2:30, a half hour before your workout was scheduled. You snubbed your nose at the NFL. You snubbed your nose at Rock Nation. You snubbed your nose at the bunch of officials who showed up. 8 of them showed up to Riverdale. 2 of them left probably to catch flights before the workout was even over. Then you show up and you give your speech and spiel to the media that you wanted present, but you didn't take any questions and all of this stuff. You just look at it and it reeks of a PR stunt, a PR campaign, the kind of thing that you accused the NFL of doing. And what I'm saying is you also showed up with a Kuta Kente T-shirt on. You understand the character from Roots, obviously a freed slave, etc. The point is, what are you saying about the owners when you do that? You know what you think about them. You've publicized what you think about them. Hey, you're entitled to feel whatever way you feel, but you also want a job with them, and you're calling them out that way when a workout has been scheduled for you to put your talents on display. And oh, by the way, the NFL said, while we will not allow you to have an independent person to video it, we will video it. We will hand over the raw footage to you, and we will send you the same footage we send to all 32 teams in the National Football League. Plus, we have individuals from 25 different teams in attendance to see you perform. That's raw footage in and of itself. So what's the problem? All a bunch of excuses as far as I'm concerned. It's incredibly disheartening. And as far as I'm concerned, again, I want him in the league. I think what's happened to him is unfair. But the manner in which he has handled this, if an NFL team never called him again, what can we say?
D-Wood, you played a long time in the league. What was your takeaway?
Well, listen, first of all, we know off the top there's considerable distrust between both camps, obviously with the 3 years that Colin Kaepernick hasn't been in the National Football League. But with that being said, I said this, my post on social media, in its simplest form, this was a job interview, okay? This was an opportunity. The NFL is not going to capitulate to your every want or desire in this particular situation because they are the gatekeeper to what you want to do. You want to get back into the National Football League. They presented you with an opportunity in that moment. And in that moment, you declined to work out in front of 25 NFL, National Football Team executives, people in the front office. You go, you move the workout, about an hour plus away to a high school facility. You work out, and then after the workout, you literally call out 32 owners and Roger Goodell. So I'm going to ask you this, Greeny.
Yeah.
How does that help? How does that help you in the eye of the people that you want to be employed with if you're calling them out at the same time?
No, obviously, he seems not to have believed this was really a job interview. And candidly, with some of the things that have happened, I'm not sure I blame him for that. This is obviously not the kind of thing we can do in 30 seconds, but that's all the time I have left. Where do you think it goes from here? And do you believe that was the last best chance that he winds up playing again?
Yes, I do. And I think it's justified because if I'm an employer and you talk about me that way at a job interview and you switch things up the way that you do, I'm going to tell you to go to hell. I don't need you. And that's exactly what the NFL is. I hope they don't do that because I'm rooting for Colin Kaepernick, and I personally think that he has gotten incredibly bad advice. But nevertheless, because of the position that he put himself in, we have to bring it home and recognize the fact that in America, anywhere, I might add, if an employer is talked about that way by a potential employee, not an employee, but a potential employee, somebody who's trying to get in as opposed to already being in, you talk about me that way, bye. Go get a job. Why don't you go to CFL? Canada's not far. I was just in Toronto. It's a beautiful city. I heard Montreal's a beautiful city. Both of them have football teams. I mean, you don't have to be in the NFL.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.